So today it's another subject and another video from point of leveling up on our journey, and it's going to be about something what is quite close to my heart. So we're going to talk about wine. I have today with me two wines. One is red, one is white, and this is just going to be like a basics first video. I think there will be few videos about the wine because why not to learn more. So this is going to be just the first one, and this is going to be just the basics about like how we should hold the wine, common mistakes when it comes to wine, and just the basic knowledge about wine. What should we know when we're going to restaurant? What kind of dishes should we, how to pair the wine with food. So as I'm saying, this is not going to be very going deep. It's just like a, for some of you probably just to remind you, for some of you maybe you're going to learn something new, but I think those kind of basic is just like something what all of us we should know. So to don't feel embarrassed, let's say there's a situation we're going to a restaurant with friends, they ordering wine, you're first trying the wine. If you want to actually order a whole bottle, and let's say the waiter is asking you, or even like your friend, they are asking you, do you like the wine? And you don't want to have the situation when you feel embarrassed and you don't really know what to say, you know, because obviously saying yes is amazing, it's just not enough really. So let's learn a little bit more and see how it goes. If you like those kind of videos, as I'm saying, I'm very keen to create more about wine, and I think there's so much to learn about wine that you know, it's just great subject. I just want to clarify, this video is going to be more focused on white and red wine, maybe a little bit about rosé. I'm not going to focus on sparkling wine because that's like completely different subject, so this is going to be for another day. So what I want to start today, I think the best what we can begin with is talk a little bit glass a little bit. So that's basically a red wine glass, as you can see, and that's a white wine glass. I will show you here. So why is the red wine glass more like a ball rather than like the same as like a tall and slim like a white one? So let's just focus on the red wine. Basically what it is, when you open a red wine and you pour to your glass, you need to, red wine is most of the time a little bit more bolder wine rather than white, so you need to have a little bit more space for oxygen basically. So before you taste your wine, you're going to look on your wine, so obviously you're going to look what kind of color is there, and we will go to the deeper details later on. You're going to stir your wine a little bit to give it a little bit oxygen, so it just develops better and it's going to taste better, and you're going to as well smell more ingredients in it. So oxygen basically helps to release those aromas, so it's just going to help you, it's just going to smell as well better and taste better. So that's what it is. That's why you need a little bit bigger glass, because once you pour wine into the glass, you don't want the red wine to split all over you, because it's very basically hard to clean and it's not elegant. So that's the first thing. So you need to have a red wine in more like a bowl glass. That's the first thing. And as you can see here, the white one is more in the taller slim glass, because it doesn't really need so much air to actually release those aromas. That's basically the difference. Let's talk about cork, and most of the time people think that the wine with cork is actually better, it's more expensive, and I think there is this kind of ritual and this kind of theatric, you know, when you come to restaurant, the waiter is opening the bottle of wine, and it's this kind of moment of removing the cork, and it's this kind of theatric you know, movement. So that's what people really like, but there is nothing actually wrong with screw wine. There is nothing that the wine with a screw on the top is worst quality. For example, like this one here, that's a wine from New Zealand, and most of the wine from the New Zealand actually have a screw. So that's just like it's going to be much more harder for you to find a wine from New Zealand that actually have a cork. So there's nothing wrong with wine that has actually a screw. Just just like a little bit explain that, you know. Another myth, that the more expensive wine is going to be better, which is obviously not true. There are wines that are more expensive, that are really, really good, but you are able to find a wine that is not really expensive and it's going to be really, really good as well. That's why every year they are doing like a wine tasting in different countries, and I think last year there was a very big surprise because there's many categories when it comes to wine: red wine, rosé, and white, and even champagne, sparkling wine. But I remember there was one of those actually cheaper wines. So this was, I think, actually from Romania. I'm not remember the title of the wine, but I'm going to actually check and I'm going to post it here because it's not really expensive, because like I think £6 or something. And it won in many categories. So it just shows you that experts, they don't really see the bottle, they don't know anything about the price, they just basically taste like without any knowledge about the wine, because it should be anonymous. So it's going to be real realistic and real reflect about how they feel about the wine. They're not going to actually get any suggestion because there is a bottle, they know the company, they know the country, region, the grape, whatever. Everything is like without any labels, so they just basically choosing what they think is great. So this was in 2019 that I remember the Romanian wine won in a lot of categories, and it was really cheap. So as you can see, the price doesn't really matter so much. I'm not going to go and talk about wine that costs, I don't know, £1,000, because I never try wine like this, and maybe there is something in the water something magical about this kind of wine. If you know, you can leave me a comment. I would love to hear. I hope I'm going to try one day. Right now I can't, but there are wine that cost even £30. They're absolutely amazing. Their wine costs £5 you can find, and they will be amazing, like this Romanian one. So yeah, so the price, it's not always says that the wine is going to be absolutely gorgeous. So this was like a very basics. Let's go back to let's start with red wine. So what do you need to know about wine? Basically, like over here, we have Trivento. So this one over here, that's a name of the wine, basically. Then you have Argentina, so that's a region, that's basically a country where it's coming from. It's a Malbec. Malbec most of the time comes from Argentina. It's just famous, Argentina is famous for Malbec. And you have a date, 2019, and it's here Mendoza, which means that's like region of the Argentina. So that's basically how you read the bottle. Malbec, obviously, it's a name of the grape. So any grape you're going to grab, you should be able to recognize those things, right? So over here we have a New Zealand, so that's obviously, like I said, it's a screw, and it's Commons Bay. I'm sorry if I read it wrong. Winemaker, so that's obviously Sauvignon Blanc, and that's the name of the grape again. That's the name of the wine. You have a New Zealand, which is the country where it's coming from, and the date is 2020. So those are like a basics. I'm not sure if you can see that, you know, because maybe move a little bit the light. Let me maybe show you on the red wine because it's darker. You can see that. Oh, I see, and again it's going to, because it's camera is another way. But if you will go to the website, I'm going to post maybe a picture here as well. I just want you to know those basics. Yes, so you have a name of the wine, there will be a country where it's coming from, Malbec, name of the grape, that's like the noble grapes here, so that's a Malbec, date, and Mendoza is just a region. Obviously each wine is going to have a different specification, yeah, different things, different title, different name. Okay, so that's like really basics here. And then one more thing I want to say, because I noticed this is like the most common mistake when it comes to holding the glass, you know. This is just very small thing, but we need to actually mention it. When you're holding a wine, you actually never hold the bowl, so you never hold the top part, which is very common mistake. It's just once you hold this way, right? That's how people like to hold it. Once you hold this way, your body temperature is actually affecting the wine, so you don't want that, because you want your wine to keep the correct temperature basically. So you always hold your wine glass this way. You never hold the top, you just try to always hold by the leg. The same comes to white wine, the same comes to red wine, all those wines, and the same comes to champagne, sparkling wine. The only thing is like cognac, brandy, you hold it from there are small glasses, so you hold it from the bottom, but when it comes to wine, you just hold the leg only. Let's just make sure we all understand. We holding the wine the correct way is basically holding the leg. You can hold it however you want. Some people like to even hold it from the bottom, which is, I think, it's just more like uncomfortable for me personally, but leg is much more popular, and that's just the etiquette, you know, you never hold the top part. Other thing to know about wine, again, one of the basic things is to know that the wine comes from old and the new world. And the old world basically is where the wine was discovered, and the new world when it's actually get like spread. So the old world is going to be Europe, for example, it can be France, or Italy, Portugal. Those basically concentrate on Europe. I will put them up here. And the new world is going to be US, so it's going to be California, it's going to be Argentina, it's going to be New Zealand, Australia, South Africa. So all on the green are actually new world, so you can see that, and yellow orangey color it's old world. Why is it important? Important is that when you actually, let's say, want to describe the age of the wine just by looking at it, and you know that the wine is coming from Europe, there are more hints to it, you know, like the wine from Europe is going to have a little bit more like orange undertone. When it comes to red wine, I'm talking about red, and when it comes to New World, is going to have a little bit more purple undertone. So there are just things. I'm again not going to very deep in this video. I'm just going to show you small things that it will be good, and it's going to be just good for you to improve your knowledge and to actually know those things, because that's not really difficult to learn, you know. It's not difficult to know about this kind of things and remember those things. It's not that we are learning here to know how the cells are working. We're learning about wine, which is going to be useful for us in some point in our life. So when it comes to old as well, old word, this is how we also describe and the wine, how it should taste. So that's like the reference for the new word. So if something is like quite sweet in the old word, then the new word should really try to copy the taste of it. Old wort wine is most of the time more fresh, have less alcohol, and is a little bit more acid. When it comes to new wort, the wine is a little bit less acid, and a little bit more sweet, and has a little bit more alcohol. And this is just because in the new wort areas there is really more sun than in the old wort, and when the sugar just develop more, and there is more alcohol this way. It's nothing, there's nothing about adding more alcohol on purpose. It's just basically because of the sun. So let's go to tasting. So when we want to taste a wine, basically, we have a wine, and first, before tasting, so before you jumping, let's have some wine. First, we need to look at the wine. So we need to check what kind of color is there. We want to basically put the wine on like 45 degrees angle, and all the area when the actually wine touch the glass around, you can see the color. Like on the middle, it's obviously you can see it's quite a dark red. But on the actually borders of the glass, like when the glass is actually touching the wine, you can see what kind of undertone is there, what kind of color is that. And that's how you're going to look at the wine. So you put 45-degree angle and you check what kind of color is that. You can see that this one is quite dark. And I'm going to put as well maybe here a list so you can see how to actually determine what is the age of the wine, because you can do that as well once you're looking at the wine. I have quite a bad light here because it's quite yellowish, but normally what it is, when you have a purple undertone, that means that the wine is very young and it didn't really have much time to develop. This is 2019, so it has actually a little bit purple undertone. Not in the slide, unfortunately. Here it looks really good. And when actually wine goes darker and darker, that means that it's aging, it's aged. So after this kind of purple, light, young color, basically we have like a ruby color, which already tells you that wine is a little bit more like older aged. And after that we have a red. There's a call for that, there's a name for that. It will come to me at some point. I'm going to post it here. There's like a darker red, and it's like the mature wine. And after that it's like a age-old wine, which is already like a brown red, and that's like the old wine, but it's still healthy to drink it, so it's nothing wrong with it. It's just older. Not this one, obviously, is 2019, but it still has this kind of purple undertone here. Maybe you can't see that, but I can't even see that here in this room, but I saw that when I was actually opening in the kitchen, because there's more natural light over there. So yes, that's the first thing you do. You put it 45-degree angle, and you check the color. After you recognize the color that the wine is quite young, so it means that it's not going to be very, very sweet. This is actually Malbec, so it is not very, very dry, but it's quite dry wine. So anyway, then after that you're going to focus on your smell. So you almost like you put full nose in the glass. Just put my glasses on. First of all, you can smell straight away, and you can determine if you smell any ingredient in the wine. For me, this one actually was quite hard. I could only smell chocolate. My partner was a bit better with this one. Then, if you want to actually smell more aromas, like I said before, you need to stir a little bit, just so there's enough time that oxygen actually goes into the glass, and then you can smell more aromas. That's how it works, basically. And you smell it, and I still can't smell anything more. That's not my really favorite wine, to be fair. Like I'm not really a fan of this type of wine, but anyway. And after that, after smelling, after looking, smelling, you want to taste, and you just want to taste a little bit. And what you want to do, you don't want to swallow the wine straight away. You want to basically spread the wine all over your tongue, so you will be able to feel more ingredients in the wine. So you don't just drink wine, oh, it's great, at the best it's sweet, great, amazing, let's have another bottle. No, just on the beginning, if you want to try the wine first, you need to have a little bit, try to spread it all over your tongue. And then you just, either you like it or you don't like it, what you can feel it. Is there like any particular aroma you can feel it? Because what it is, really 90% of taste of the wine, it's a smell. So that's why we as well smelling before, because we want to be like prepared on what's going to happen, And even when I smell it, I can already imagine it's going to be a little bit dry. So that's what it is, basically. When you try, you don't need to hold it very, very long. It just so you can spread all over. Okay, that's enough for me. As I'm saying, that's wouldn't be like, I asked actually for this wine. I asked my partner to buy this particular one because It is good wine, but I am not really fun myself so much about Malbec. But I know my partner, he absolutely loved this one. So yeah, it's just the taste. It's just the difference is going to be that some of us we're going to like more sweet wine, some of us we're going to like more dry wine. I don't mind dry wine, but just this one is somehow doesn't really. It's okay, but it would be great if I would have a like lamb or beef, but just on its own maybe it doesn't work so well for me. So there is this thing when it comes to wine, when you're tasting. When you're in the restaurant, I would say just taste a little bit. If you don't like the wine, then you can ask for a different one. But obviously, if you're going to a winery and you're going to taste, let's say, 10 different wines over the day, you don't really want to, first of all, you want to have your palate quite clean after every wine. So you're not going to swallow every wine. You're going to split wine, basically. And some people might think that's not really polite. However, it's just natural. If you know you're going to taste more than one wine, especially if you're going to taste more than 1-2 wines, then you don't really want to damage your palate. When it comes to aroma, one tip I can give you as well, it's when it comes to young wine, it's going to smell more like berries. When it comes to old wine, it's going to more smell like earth and leather. So this can also give you like a hint how old is the wine. Okay, let's just talk about a little bit about this white wine and a little bit more about taste. I know it's going to be a mishmash a little bit, that's me always trying to create like a scenario for the video, but I'm always going to mix everything anyway, so well, my charm. So we have a white wine. As we talk about glass, it's a little bit different. It's quite clear wine. It's glass could be better, maybe clean better. and straight away when I actually smell this wine, I can smell that I didn't even try it yet. I can smell it's going to be quite fruity, and that's what you're going to recognize first when you're smelling. There's it can be either fruity, it's going to be, you can smell it that it's going to be quite a big amount of alcohol. When it comes to flavors, there will be different families. Will be floral, spicy, berry, jammy. There might be even jammy wine. This one is obviously fruity, raisiny, grassy, even vanilla. So there is a lot of different, even can be smoky. There's lots of different families when it comes to smell. But I think the most of the time, well, not most of the time, but I think it's easier to first smell like if the wine is fruity or rather than smell grassy. It's just because we have this kind of, some of the smells are not so obvious on the beginning. So yeah, so this one will be quite fruity, that's for sure. And it's very nice. It's very nice. Sauvignon Blanc, and even though it's New Zealand, so this is not really, it's not really sunny region, because California would be much more sweeter. It's still it's just it's not really too sweet, because I'm not really fan of sweet wine, but this one is perfect sweetness. I'm going to buy this one much more often. It's really nice. It's really nice, and price for this one is like maybe 7-8 pounds. So it's very, very reasonable. So yeah, when I taste it, I can feel it's not too sweet. It's sweet, and I can feel some kind of like a herbal already aroma going on. I can't really name all the herbal because I'm not really an expert, but I think it's important just to, I think it comes to you with time and with development, with practice as well. So when you drink really more and more, you're going to be able to name more aromas. Some people like drink the wine and they straight away know, oh, there's a stone. I can feel a stone here. It's funny for me because it's like Like, how can you feel a stone, you know what I mean? But yeah, and it's not too dry. On the bottle, actually, on the back, it says that it's more dry than sweet, like much more dry. You know, I'm not sure able to show you. There's like a line over here, yeah, and that's just beginning of the. So that's a dry. It's just almost on the beginning, and I wouldn't really agree with that. I feel like the Malbec it's much more drier, and it's on over there. It's not so much. The line is much more like on the sweeter side. So this one is. I still feel it's quite sweet rather than dry. So when do you know when the wine actually turned bad? Because this can happen as well. When you actually open the wine and smell, and you pour in the glass and it smells like a rotten fruit or like almost like a vinegar, then you know the wine went bad and it's not even a point for you to try. When it comes to wine, we also determine the weight of the wine, and it comes with light body, medium body, and full body. This one here, it's going to be full body. It's dark as well. Then when it comes to grape varieties, there's more than 10,000 grapes, so we're not going to learn all of them obviously, but there are also grapes called noble, and those are like the most popular that you also will be probably seeing most of the time in the shop. So I'm also going to put a list here, and I'm going to save those kind of pictures for you if you are looking to like store some of those images. I'm going to put a link for you to my Pinterest, so you can just save them from there, you know, because I think it's useful to have like for me it's useful. I don't know how it's for you. So when it comes to wine and drinking while we're eating, you need to basically focus on balance. So when you order a sweet wine, you would order, or either way, if you eat something salty, sweet wine is going to complement salty food. If you order something so sweet and you're going to drink sweet wine, it's just going to be overwhelming for you. It's going to be just too sweet. You're not going to enjoy your meal. So it's when it comes to wine and food, you just want to try to keep everything balanced. So the same comes when you can also order sweet wine when you're ordering sweet, but also more like let's say you order something sweet to eat, but then the wine can be sweet, but it should also have some kind of acidity to it. So just again, you balancing. When it comes to acid wine, it will be better to order something less, not very sweet, but something more sweet rather than salty, because when you actually drink a acid wine with salty food, it's going to make your food even like feel even more salty. So again, you don't want that. You want to balance. That's honestly, this is the most important rule you need to know. You want to balance your wine. I know there is more to it. If you're going to a restaurant, you would need to know a little bit more which wine are more sweet or which wine are more acid. So when it comes to sweet, you can remember that New World is going to have sweeter wines. So you can order something from California, it's going to be more sweeter. You can go for more white wine. You can even go for rosé, because you know, just this kind of everything what I said you can determine by as well seeing where is the wine coming from. Is it New or Old World? If it's a New World, it's going to be a little bit more sweeter than Old World. So if you're feeling to order something more acid, you can maybe go a little bit more France rather than Australia, for example. So you just need to have this kind of basic knowledge just to operate when you're ordering, let's say, a red, I don't know, you're ordering a steak, so it's going to be salty. You don't really want acid wine, so you can go for sweet wine when you are having a steak. Just this kind of rule, you know, if you know you're going to eat something like a sweeter. Obviously I'm not talking even about dessert, like it's just the main meal is going to be sweeter, then just try to go for maybe a little bit more acid wine. When it comes to tannic wine, it goes really well with as well meat, and it makes the wine even a little bit more sweeter as well. I'm going to write this down, everything on the side as well, so it's going to be easier to remember for you, and I'm going to save that as well in the folder. I think the last thing what I'm going to mention just over here is persistence as well. So this is basically how long you feel the taste after you drink the wine. So if the feeling is under 30 seconds, so it's short. If it's medium, it's medium if it's up to a minute, and if it's more than, let's say, 3 minutes, it's a long persistent. So that's just another thing, like if you're going to talk about wine with some friends and you say that yes, the persistence is quite long or it's quite medium, I can still feel the taste and it's already a couple of minutes after. So it's really, I really enjoy that, you know. It's just like, you know, you want to have a conversation with people as well. If you want to have a conversation with people about wine and you don't want to feel like really green about this, then I think the knowledge what we actually covered today, it's I think enough. And if you really like, if you like this kind of subject, because I really do, and I feel like I have lots of things to learn, and I'm going to obviously buy wine. So once I'm going to maybe have a really nice bottle, I'll maybe do another video, and then we can like talk more deep about meals and pairing food better way, you know. We can talk about which wine exactly pair with what. I think it's not necessary to know this on the beginning, but once you feel like you already got it, that you got the new word, old word, and you know how to read the bottle, then I think then it's already next step we can do, and just do like a food pairing with wine, you know. This I think it's going to be good. And once you learn that, I think it's not going to be hard for you, because there's not many noble wines, and we're going to cover the noble wines only. And yeah, it's just, you know, once you learn that, you just go to the restaurant, you're never going to feel embarrassed or anything. I'm also going to put a picture here with a different color of the wine. So like, for example, mine, I really, and it's very sweet. I said that I don't really like the sweet wine so much, but this one, I love Tokai wine, and it's really sweet, but it's just, I can't even, it's just like drinking, I don't know, it's like, so I enjoy it so much. So I encourage you not to drink too much, but once in a while have a glass of wine, and you can discover what kind of wine you like. And when you go into a restaurant, you're actually going to know that, oh, I drank this one. Like me, I drank Malbec, and it's completely like, I could have it with red meat, but I think I could pair it with something better actually. But some people will love it. Like my partner, he absolutely loves Malbec, so I'm sure he's going to order many times, and I'm not so keen, you know. So yeah, so this was the first I think first like a basic knowledge about wine, just a few things we should really know when it comes to leveling up as well. And I'm going to make 100% sure more videos about this subject, but right now I feel we cover at least something. I hope there are some things that you didn't know and you actually took it from this video, because that's the whole point of it. So I hope you enjoyed. Please leave it a thumbs up, because it's really supporting my channel, and subscribe if you're actually interested in leveling up and you support this kind of subject.